All right, I'm in my auto account. I'm gonna play. I'm playing Tour 8. I'm trying to get my trophies back so I can get in the same. I think Dunner's account's got like 3,200 in it, so I'm just trying to get all my trophies back. And trying to move myself up to Tier 3 so that me and him can get matched up and play. So just doing the thing every day, trying to get a little bit of trophies. I'm sure it's helping the clan out a little bit too. Clan points are always good. Always good. Anybody out there wants to join the Kings of Golf, we have room in our clan. And I think I changed these around because then I played. Did I play the tournament yesterday? I'm gonna play. All right, I'll play it with that. I will play it with that. Swap the ball out. Let's go with a Quasar. I don't need to see what it is. I know it's Quasar. That's why I clicked on it. Dumbasses. 11. Man, that's going to be tough even from there. Totally unprepared for that. Don't have any of my stuff up. What was I thinking? Like, what were you thinking? You don't have your grid on. You got the wrong bags. Freaking rookie. You know, I never really pay attention to what my opponents have as far as equipment. Occasionally I'll catch on there and I'll see somebody that's got an APOC 7 or an APOC 8 that's got maxed out stuff, but I never really worried about it. I very seldom ever find myself losing to somebody because they had better clubs than me. It's usually you lose because you didn't use your equipment to its fullest. Especially in one-on-one. Tournament play can be a little bit different. You can't have better stuff that it gives you some shots, but in one-on-one, it's typically, not always, but it's typically get up there. Where am I at in my club? There's max. There's min. There's mid. So I'm in mid club. Mid Grizzlies 1.0. 9.2 times 1.1. 10.12 rings. Seemed like I needed to do. Played this hole a few times. It seems like I need to do like a 10%. And I'm a little off the cut, but that's as close as I'm gonna get. 10.12 rings. There's 10, 1, 2. Oh, I hit it great. Great on the wrong side. If you hit it great to the win side, you at least still got a shot, but usually great to the non-win side is typically bad. See if we can be a little more prepared as we go along. Trying to win 75%. That's the whole goal, is to be a 75% player. So if you're trying to get 4 gold chests a day, you got to open up 16 chests. So X times 0.75 equals 16. So 16 means you got to play 21, 22 games in order to win 16 if you're a 75% player. But if you're a 50% player, now you're talking 32 games. So, you're talking another 10 games. You're talking another hour plus of play time. And so, like, if you're trying to maximize your time during the day, it's much more better to be a 75% player. Now, in the past, we'll have to see if this holds true today, because I'm speaking of in the past when I played a lot of one-on-one. I played every day for at least a couple hours, watching TV, just chilling out. It used to be we didn't have a tournament every fucking week. So, like, what I would do is I would play a tournament, and then on the off week, I'd take Monday and Tuesday off to relax, and then I'd start shooting videos on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'd shoot, like, lower tour videos and, up Tour 7 and just play around and post some content. show some of the tours that maybe people wanted to look at those holes and get a better look at them or whatever. But with the tournament every week, it's hard to do that unless you're really grinding it out. But I don't take tournaments as serious as I used to. I mean, what's funny is that Dunner and I can go out there and we don't have any practice. We've played those holes. Some of the holes we've played 1,000 times, and some of them we've played 1 or 2 tournaments, and we can still pop out a pretty decent score. Can you do a rough bump from here? We got enough juice. And it is downhill, so I'm going to do 3 rings off plus 10%. So that would be 10.7 times 1.1, 11.17 ring, or 77 rings. There's 10. There's 1177. Hitting it perfect. Wow, you can hit it perfect. I wasn't sure if you still could. And that was a way over pull, so I must have been at like minimum club and I did a max pull. Which is probably the case. I don't even think I checked to see where my red lines were at. I just saw that I could do the rough bump. So keynote to self, that's one of the things about playing one-on-one, is remembering how to play all the holes. You start playing a tour, like I played Tour 7 for so long and so often that I knew all those holes like the back of my hand, and so it was easy to win like shit 90% of the time. Don't be afraid to get your ass kicked when you move up a tour. I don't really worry about bankroll, but I know, like, as you're going up the very first time, worrying about bankroll is, you've got to worry about bankroll. You got to make sure you have enough money to go up there and play and not stress out about it. They say the 10 times the amount to go in, so like if you went up to Tour 9, it's what, $1 million a hole, so 9 million, 10 million. I think I'd want to have more just to make sure that once you go to up a tour, you don't have to go back to get, you don't have to step back to get some coins in order to go play a few more holes. You can stay on there and just take your lumps. At one point, this account had 250, 270 million in it. And max trophies up to Tour 10. I found Tour 8 at the time, because the holes, like any hole you got in Tour 2 was in Tour 7, any hole in Tour 3 was in Tour 8. So if you were going up a tour, you could go down to one of those tours and refamiliarize yourself with the courses. We didn't have all of the access to stuff that we have now, as far as like going and looking at shit online. So the only way that you could really kind of you didn't have these big pictures where you could look at the picture and go, okay, I remember that hole and this is how I should play it, or this is what I can do from this tee. We didn't have any of that, so you just have to go back and play it. But I found Tour 8 and Tour 10 where I loved both those tours, especially Tour 10. But Tour 9 was my nemesis. It took me forever and a day. For whatever reason, it was Oasis. And it was the Oasis shootouts that kicked my ass. And what's really fucked up about it, or funny about it, I should say, is they drove me crazy when I was playing them in that tour. But then I quit playing that tour, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to play these holes. So I went back and actually took the time to learn how to play those holes, and I had a lot of success on them. Then I figured out how to play them. I was like, wow, I should have did this while I was playing that tour. Yeah, dummy. There's 8. $2,000 rings straight to the right. I don't think that'll hurt me. And it did. Probably could have just laid that up there and then got down there. I need to work my bags. I changed my bags because I played in the tournament yesterday, so I changed my bags around for the holes for the tournament. And I don't have any of the bags are set up for what I like to play in one-on-one. But I have got my work cut out for me. The only thing that would help me is if my opponent ended up in the sand and they're not going to. It would have helped me if they'd have just barely got on the green and had a long putt. I can recover from here. Just need to play it smart. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Hitting it really good. That fairway was so big, I should still be in the fairway. All right, I got this. That is way downhill. That has got to be like a 20% adjustment going downhill. If elevation is truly elevation, and I don't believe that it is, I think it's just some bullshit number that we have to do, because we used to not have to do that. Like there was a little bit, or you'd have secondary wind effect, or there was a little, but now it's become such a big deal, but it's not consistent. You get on one and you absolutely know that that's uphill, and you don't always have to take wind off. But the ones that are downhill, you almost always have to add wind on. Where am I at? What club am I using? Hornet. There's Min. There's Max. I'm at mid club. Mid Hornet's 1.3 per ring, so 9.4 divided by 1.3. 8.67 rings. 2 backspin. Get right up to the cup. Should be 8.67 rings. 8.7 rings. I screwed that up, I think. I was trying to grab the course to move it so that it was set where I wanted, and then I was going to move the ring set, and I think I moved the ring set. Needed to do more than a 10. Needed to do something. It's all about drive. So one-on-one is all about fairway to green. So like I was saying earlier in the video, I'm not sure if it's the same way as it used to be, but if you hit fairway to green and you shoot minimum score on all of these holes, you will win 50% of your matches out on the course. Just like my opponent just won right there. They just played minimum score and they beat me because I screwed up on the drive. If you play minimum score out on the course and you play nothing but minimum score, you get 50% of your rounds or wins, and then you're going to go to the shootout 50% of the time. And if you can just win 50% of your shootouts, and you might get into a streak where you lose 3 or 4 in a row, and then you win 3 or 4 in a row. So you don't worry about streaks. It's all about percentages. It's one of the reasons why I don't understand, as long as this game has been out. Maybe it's just not enough people have been bitching about it. Everybody bitch to play Demic. That why the hell do we not have our stats for the last 100 games? Who cares about our stats for lifetime when we've played 7,000 games? What are our stats for the last 100? Now, this is a prime example. Last time I duffed my drive. Now, all I have to do is hit my drive down the pike and give myself a shot, and I didn't switch my bag. What is my secondary club? Man, that club is just not going to cut it. Guardian's not as good as I would like, but it might be better than the sniper in this situation. I'm just wondering if I just tap it up there and not even try any overpower, just tap it up there, if I can recover. There's 2, 4, there's 3, there's 6, there's 7, 5. I don't remember what my APOC is. I was thinking 1 per ring for some reason, and it's actually 1.5. Oh, fuck, and I'm in the same spot my opponent's in. That was 2 rings great to the right. So I let my opponent back in the game. Whew, can't believe I missed that. Trying to be a 75% player. Your opponent makes a mistake, do not let them back out. Just put the hammer down. We got the same kind of distance there. What I need right here is where a big dog would come in handy, because you can bounce off of the first fairway to the left, that first island. And with all the topspin, you can get it down to the cup. The Guardian's got the distance, but it just doesn't have the topspin. The one cool thing about a Guardian is that you can do max overpower shots with it with impunity because of its backspin. If I could get over to that spot, which I can't. And if I could get over to that spot, then I'm on. It's 1.1 per ring. I'm going to do 5-5. Do a max ring set. Max curl. Just a little teeny bit of overpower. Hit it 1 ring great to the left, right. Yo left, yo right. Just try and get myself in recovery zone. I replayed this person, so I didn't get to change my bag, but as soon as I get done, if we don't replay again, I'm going to change my bags for one-on-one, because these are not the bags that I want to take out for one-on-one. If I was bringing out big balls, these bags would be fine. But if you're playing with a Navigator or a Quasar or even Marlin, you're going to need to supplement your stuff with better clubs. Ooh, in the hole. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice shot, my man. Nice. All right, here we go. Just need to hit it perfect. And I didn't. We'll see if I get lucky. Wind was a factor. Wind was a factor. If I'd hit it perfect, I might have missed it. It does roll off to the cup there, so you never know. You never know. I was trying to hedge my bet and give myself a great to the right or a great to the left and a perfect, and it worked out that time. What a damn rookie. Haven't you played Tour 8 before? Don't you know these holes? Now, there is a rough bump on this, but I don't know. There's a rough bump right here. But I don't have a ball to get me there. I do have the topspin, though. That is definitely not the shot to take with the equipment that I have. And I think it's plus 10, so it'd be 7.5. It's 1.1 per ring, and it's plus 10%. There's 7.5. Hitting it perfect. We'll see. We'll see. Still pushed me off, so I probably should have did plus 20. I've got that hole written down on my notes. But we're playing it with a Grizzly from Rookie. Not sure which hole it is. It's one of them. I'm sure of it. Might be hole number 4 in the current tournament, and I've got... Well, that's the wrong one. Hole 3, Grizzly Katana, plus 30. So I think that's the hole it is, plus 30. And I did plus 10. And that's probably why it pushed me so far off. My opponent hit the flagpole, and that cost them some yardage. I might have won that just because of the flagpole hit. Should have had your caddy pull it. Can't be good, be lucky. All right, we're 1 for 1. Let's see if he'll play one more. Come on, my dude. Yeah, rubber match right here. And I don't have the right equipment. I feel like I don't have the right equipment, so... What's killing me right now is not having my Guardian in my big topper bag, because there's a lot of these holes. The big topper is definitely a good club. We might be able to get over. In tournament play, I play up into that spot right there, and you got a great shot coming at it. I'm not sure this wind and this ball, whether I have enough oomph to get me over there. I can recover from over there, so let's try it. There's 3 and a little bit. 10.7. 10.7 divided by 1.5. 7.13 rings. There's 7.5. Max curl. Hitting it perfect. See if I pulled out enough so that I can get the trajectory going down that fairway. Run it out. So what I found is, like with a quarterback, if you use a quarterback rock, when a rock gets upper developed and it gets the rest of its curl, it's like 4 rings. But for a lot of its life, if you give yourself 3 rings of separation off of a rough area like that, and you're doing it's a blind curl shot, and with an APOC, it's usually like between 3 and 4, just depending on how the fairway opens up. But like giving yourself enough room. Now with an extra mile, it's usually you got to pinch yourself up a little bit, and it's more like 2, 1 3/4. And the grate to the left helped them. I'm pretty sure it helped them there. I think they still would have made it perfect, but it would have been really close on that rough edge over there. Nice. Nice shot, my man. This looks pretty straight up. Goliath. There's minimum Goliath. There's max. So there's mid. I'm going to be at minimum Goliath, which is 2.9 per ring. So 11.4 divided by 2.9 is 3.93 rings. Let's say 4. Because who's counting? 4 rings. Perfect. Close. Need to pull it just a little more. Just a little. Just a little, like 5%. Or +1 or +2. See if my opponent starts off. Now, Goliath has enough backspin that I could have started off on that side and did the deal. And then you can get closer to it. You don't have to worry about your topspin rolling out. That might be a little too close to it. Man, I have no idea where that's going to go. It's freaking, that was mid club right there. Even if it was max, that's 2 per ring. So that'd only be 5 rings, and that seemed like a pretty big pull. Yeah, they damn near ended up in that sand. Over pulled it. This is why I'm just amazed, as long as the game has been out, and as much resources that are out there now. It's not like people can claim what we used to in the old days, where like, hey, what does a level 5 Guardian have? Because nobody knew. And there was no website that had it. Like, there was no information on the web. There was nobody doing the wind ring method. There was nobody, there's stuff out there to learn how to make adjustments for it that you don't have to do an eyeball. Part of my benefit is that I learned the game, and relatively quickly the wind ring method came out, and so I've done the wind ring method pretty much the entire time I've played Golf Clash. So it's just second nature. But I suppose if you've played for 2 or 3 years and then went, there's got to be a better way, and then you try and do it, you might feel like it's more work than it's worth. But I can tell you right now that it's worth the work. The Guardian. Max backspin. Where am I at in my club? There's max. There's man. So I'm eking towards mid. 5.3. I'm just going to do the 5.3. Times 1.3 divided by 1.2. 574. There's 5. 7.5. Perfect. I did mid numbers on it, but I'm not so sure I shouldn't have did. And it was so close right there. I should have did a max. I should have did it, even though I was at mid club, I should have did a max pull plus 30%. I did plus 30 there at mid. Where's my Guardian? Well, my Guardian's a 1.3 and I did a 1.2, so I actually overpulled it a little. Split the difference between mid and min, or mid and max. Max is at 1.1. There's several of these par 3s that I have found that when you have due headwind, and I know the hole's not in this, and I can't remember what course it's on, but if you got due headwind, you do a 40%. If you got due tailwind, you do a 40%. If you got side wind, you do a 10. If you got side wind that's blowing at a 45-degree angle, you do 30. And those are the numbers. I love getting on if I see that hole. I love getting on it, because especially on headwind days, because I know, like, hey, I got a killer shot of winning this, because that headwind will kill it. All right, let's fix my bag first. Let's fix the bags first. Bags, gloves. Let's fix this one. Damn. My Cataclysm, when it gets to level 6, it is almost exactly the same as the big dog, but it has better ball guide. It's got the same kind of backspin, same kind of top spin, same accuracy, but it picks up that. It's got better ball guide, and I think maybe the backspin, it's got one better, but they're almost exactly the same when the Cataclysm gets to level 6, but the Cataclysm is better because of the ball guide. But until then, that top spin is the big deal. And I'm going to play with my Cataclysm just because. I'm playing with it in my 77 account because I have it at level 6. I'm going to change that up to a Goliath as well. I'm going to change this to a Saturn. And I like the rest of the clubs there. Is that right? I'm going to change this to a extra mile. I'm changing this one to a Guardian. I'm changing this to a Saturn. Okay, so there's my APOC bag for one-on-one play. There's my extra mile bag, and there's my big topper bag. And then I've got my normal distance accuracy bag. And I'm going to play pretty much with this bag. Or the big topper. One of the two. See if we can get a gold chest get something going. Here, I better clear out 2 spots just in case somebody wants to replay, and I went to, and I don't have. I hate playing without an empty slot. It's just not the way to go. We're farmers, whether you want to admit it or not. Whether you like to admit it or not, you're a farmer. So put your bibs on, go out there and get your feet dirty. And we are harvesting club cards. If you've played Clash of Kings or Clash of Clans or any of those types of games, you're harvesting something. You got to go get something in order to upgrade something or to do something. Now this hole, man, I really want to do my max overpower hookshot on this hole. But I don't think you can get it done with a quasar. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, so there's 5. There's 15. I'm going to go right to that rock. Right where I'm hitting that rock, and it's deflecting it. 6-3. There's 6-3. We'll see if a quasar has enough to get. Let's see if hitting the fairway here is key number 1, and then see if it has enough topspin and stuff to get me over. It doesn't. It's too wide. The fairway's too wide right there, and you need to use an apox so that you can get down where the fairway's a little bit narrower. You're skirting along this edge on the other side. The risk is that you roll off, and I've ended up in the rough out there, I don't know how many times, or I'm past that sand trap, but I'm up pin high, but I'm in the rough behind the pin. It was worth checking it out. My opponent should be in the sand. In the sand. I should be able to easily recover from here. Right, there's max. Where am I at my club? There's max. There's mid. So I'm in the 3/4 range. I'm going to play 4 rings. That should be 8. That's like plus 7.5%. Ooh, and then I hit it great to the left. And it came into the left, so that's good. I have found that with my Nirvana that if I'm at max, I play my Nirvana at 2 per ring at max. Don't ask questions. That's just what I play it at. I've played with my Nirvana, and I shot a video on the deal with rough irons and sand wedges is they're different because you can be 1 inch in front of the ball to the hole, or you can be max club. And so the closer you can get to yourself, the more accurate it gets. So if I'm in quarter club, it's 16 per ring. If I'm at mid club, it's 4 per ring. And at max club, I'm 2 per ring. But I was trying to work numbers for like the 3/4 club because you find myself in 3/4 club all the time. And it just seemed like the max number worked as well at 3/4. When I start eking towards mid, I switched to the 4 per ring. But right at the 3/4, for whatever reason, the 2 per ring seems like it still works. It should be 3 per ring, but it isn't. I'm not sure how Golf Clash Notebook works it out as far as in the app, because it's definitely changes with the slider. But what's really funny about it is that I've been on the course sometimes with Dunner, and we've been in the same sand trap or the same rough area, and I do 1.7 rings and he does 2.3, and we both made it. So Not sure exactly how those work, but I will tell you that rough irons and sandwiches are definitely different. And the closer you can get, the more accurate they get. They're super accurate when they get close. They're the most accurate clubs in the game when they get up close and personal. I got to learn how to play these holes, because these are the money holes with a Guardian, because people are coming here trying to play them with their wood, trying to bounce it over, and it can be you can get in a little bit of, depending on which way the wind's blowing, you're going to use one side or the other, you can get in a little bit of trouble. But with the Guardian, if I can get my numbers right, you can stick it pretty close to the cup every time. You're going to get beat sometimes. Just people are, the wind's right and people got the right stuff and they're going to beat you. But like, I should be able to beat that 445. I should be able to be within 2 every time. Like, put the pressure on them. There's max. I'm going to do a max number, even though I'm in mid club. I'm going to get all the fucking backspin on. .3 divided by 1.1, 7.44 rings. We'll see. That sand was really distorting it. 1 ring great to the right. Not enough backboard to get some suck back. All right, going back to the drawing board. I had a shot that I used to do on that hole where I'd start off way to the left and I'd use all the curl. And it gave me more room, and then I could throw it over towards the cup. And I didn't come in so high on it. Let's see if they'll rematch. No dice. No dice. I'm going to play one more, and then I tried to get a hold of Dunner, but I think he's working on his house. And he said he really needs to focus on working on his house. But it's nighttime now. It's 8:30, and he could be playing. All work and no play makes Dunner a dull boy. Come on. Wanted to see if he wanted to practice the tournament. When me and him go out there and we actually get hooked up and we're on a practice day, man, those are videos to watch, because we can really go out there and practice. We can really, like, you will learn a lot on those days by watching us practice when we get hooked up together. I know that the wind is affecting the ball big time here if you got a tailwind. Big time. I had like an 11-mile-an-hour tailwind the other day, and I was 4 rings away from the rough, bouncing off that island. And max overpull, it put me like in the shit. I wasn't even in the middle of the drink, and the wind pushed, and I left the wind in. I took a little bit of it out and I left a bunch in, and I was like, hey, I'll end up there, and it fucking threw me all the way over. I barely cleared it on the other side. Barely. 4, 6, 8. Okay, there's 8 too. And a little. Max curl and a little bit of overpower. Hitting it perfect. See, I don't have enough curl to blow me out there. It seemed like, if I can remember correctly, it seemed like I shot this hole the other day and I needed to add on 10%. I really got to get used to this Hornet. I might be in rapier range though. And I play my rapier at 1.2 at max and 2.4 at min or mid. And at min, I don't worry about it. I use the cup as my measurement. Because wind's really not that big of a factor. It might be a Masters if you had like a 24 wind or something, but even in pro, it's not a big factor. My opponent's in the hole. In the hole. Ooh. Opened the door. Okay, there's max rapier. There's mid. Can I get tailspin to get me to mid? I can. So 5.9 divided by 2.4, 2.7 rings. .7 rings. There's 2, 7. Hitting that one ring great to the left. That might not kill me. It might. It did. Perfect would have been in. Damn it. Arrgh. Let my opponent back in. That's twice today I've let my opponent back on the hook. Let him off the hook. Had him. Need to get that killer instinct again. I got a massage today and now I'm all sore. What's the deal with that? I'm supposed to get a massage and then feel great. Just like beat me up. Here we go. Let's see if we get the same damn hole again. I'm going to figure this hole out. I'm going to figure out the spot. I go first. Which way's the wind blowing? Jesus. Make sure I have enough room to work out the wind. .8 times 1.1. I'm going to do 9.8. I'm going to do 10 rings. I remember when this hole first came out, the very first time I ever played it, I got a hole-in-one on it. And not this time. Man, that laid it way down. Needed to do like a plus big time plus on it. I would have had a better shot doing a rough bump with my fucking driver, which is exactly what I should have did. My opponent should easily be able to beat that. Easily. So many rings they pull it. I removed it 10. They started off a little bit farther away from that sand than me, so they should be fine. Another loss. Damn, can I win any? I talk about being a 75% player. Shit, I'm lucky if I'm going to be a 25% player. And that would have been super easy to beat. Like, shit, you can't beat that? What are you doing? What are you doing, dude? All right. I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee and then start pop up my 77 account and fire it up and play around. Thanks for watching. Did I win any? Did I win any chests at all? I think I won one. And I opened it. Look at that. Damn. What a loser. Stay safe.